why are you not on the Jimmy Dore Show anymore?
Because I quit.
You just quit?
Yeah, I quit for a number of reasons, man. I mean, it was, the show was definitely going in a different direction than I was going. And Jimmy and I have our disagreements, politically. But that's not the main reason I quit. I mean, the main reason I quit, the show was going in a different direction. And I just wasn't really into the direction it was going. And we talked about it, and I just decided, okay, I think it's time for me to move on. So I
Yeah.
quit. And
I quit too, just so you know, because I used to listen to you guys all the time, and
oh, okay.
it just started to get like, what? Remember when he used to talk about the police and he used to talk about I don't know, Republicans and what they were doing wrong occasionally, and it just seemed to all switch to, I don't know, it was just so bizarre, and I had this like weird moment where I was like, I like Jimmy though. I like Jimmy though. And I just kept saying that. And then every time I'd watch a show, I'd be like, what is he doing? I don't understand. It was like this crazy switch, like his brain just switched. And I just didn't understand it at
Well,
all.
I mean, look, man, I don't want to like, badmouth the show or whatever. I on a
I'm just trying to
personal,
figure it out.
no, I mean, well, and honestly, I don't really, since I've been gone, I don't have any of those answers because
Hmm.
I don't watch the show. Like I don't watch it as a consumer, not out of any ill will or anything. I just don't, it's just
Yeah.
like, I mean, it's like people ask me all kinds of stuff, and it's
Yeah.
just like, well, have you ever quit a job before? When are you gonna go back to that job that you quit? Do you follow what the job you quit is up to all the time? Like, no, well, neither do
Stalker.
I. Like it's like, I separate the personal from the professional and from the political. So on a personal level, I still, I'm still friends with Jimmy, or at least as far as I know, like we're cool, like I haven't talked to him in a while, but yeah, I just, I've moved on, and as far as I know, that show has too. And I've gotten a lot of weird feedback from all sides. People who, tell me that they miss me, which is very nice. Like very nice things, like, oh, we miss you and blah blah blah. We miss your jokes, we miss your contributions, and that's so nice. And I appreciate it every single time. And thank you. I've gotten some other very weird, culty statements from people. I mean, someone told me that I've been called a traitor.
What?
Someone told me I broke their heart. I broke the,
Oh, that's
I
sweet.
broke their heart because I quit a job. No, it was not. It was not delivered nicely. It was
Right.
not a. I mean,
Uh-huh.
there was more to the diatribe than that. But I mean, people have told me that that I'm a bad friend because I guess in a friendship, if you're friends with somebody, you have to work with them forever for the rest of your life,
Yeah.
and you're never allowed to disagree with them. Otherwise, you're a
Right.
bad. Apparently that's a thing. I don't know. So I've been told that. I've been told. I mean, I've gotten some weird stuff, but it's
Yeah.
like I never. I mean, it is a bit interesting to take in because I'll be honest, I never thought in my life there would be so much interest one way or another in me quitting a job. But but there has been.
I think the
I
reason why is because you are still the same person. You
Okay.
know what I mean? And if you were on that show, I don't think you would fit anymore. I really don't think so. I think it would just
I
not
mean,
work.
yeah, I mean, I agree with that, and I'm not saying. I mean, look, it's just one of those things, man. If you play in a band, and
Yeah.
the band completely switches genres, and
Hmm.
you were playing punk rock, and they're like, we're doing jazz now, and you're like, shit, man, I don't
Yeah.
really play jazz. I mean,
That's exactly right.
I'm not really a jazz player. It's just like, well, you don't write the songs, and it's not your freaking show, so tough shit. Okay. I mean, that
Right.
wasn't what was said by any means,
No, I
but like,
know.
you know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, it's time to go. And I kind of saw that. And, I don't really, I mean, people, it's weird, and not in this interview, but like in other conversations I've had, it's like people, I don't know if they think I should be like mad or I should be like bitter or whatever, but it's like, why would I be that way? Like it was a cool, I had a fun time. It was a good run. I, I have a lot of fond memories from that show. I have some not so fond ones, like any other job in the history of ever. And
Yeah.
it's just like,
Yeah.
I've moved on, like
Do you feel like, and I don't know if this has always been the case or if it happened more with like this big fracturing of the left, but do you feel like people have just dug their heels in terms of getting attached to like personalities in this
I
sphere?
think so. I think there's a bit of like, especially in the online left, there's a bit of like an almost like evangelical type attachment to different
Yeah.
personalities. And I don't know why that is. I mean, I guess it's because like people, I guess people can really become emotionally invested in that sort of thing. And I think part of the problem is the left has just been losing consistently for 100 years. So like literally about 100 years.
Yeah.
So I think there's sort of this desperate grab for some kind of solution or at least some kind of relief and solace. But for me, it's like keep in mind that there's a huge portion of the left that like doesn't follow any of this stuff. Like they don't follow any of these podcasts. They don't follow any YouTube shows.
Yeah.
They kind of just roll their eyes at all of it because they just are more focused on what they're doing, you know. And so I don't, I just don't put that much stock into it. Like I really don't put that much, if you enjoy a podcast, that's great. If you don't watch it.
That is my philosophy on things. Like it is, and I'm like, it's just turn it off. It's not for you. Like like the same thing with comedians, right? Like some people get so offended if a comedian says something. I'm like, well, that is maybe not the art for you, and so maybe just don't watch it. But yeah, same thing with the different takes and different styles, and yeah, like I'll watch it and I might, and some people it's like you agree with some things, not with others. Oh, I like some takes, don't like everything,
Well,
but everything has
see.
gotten
Oh, sorry, I
intense.
didn't mean to interrupt you there, but what I was gonna say when you brought that up, it's like it's interesting to me, and this goes beyond any like one personality or whatever, but sort of like a thing that I notice a little bit, like especially like on Twitter, is it seems like people look for a reason to disassociate with someone instead of the opposite. Like they'll bring up all like I've even seen it, because I collaborate some with Status Coup now, if you know Status Coup.
Yeah, I follow them also.
Like, and so I'm their Thursday show now. I co-host it with a journalist named Tina Desiree Berg, and I like working with them because they do a lot of in the field journalism. So we get to do, we get to curate the show based on, not solely based on, but like we get to incorporate a lot of firsthand material, which I really like. I think that's really awesome. Like I think that's special, especially because like they go to places like Flint, they go to places, and then it's like, but I'll get some feedback where people are like, well, they do great reporting, but, and then they'll like insert some like take Jordan has, and I'm just like, well, why is that second part more important to you? Because the more important part to me is they do great on the field reporting.
Yeah.
The fact that like some of the people on that network have some different strategic ideas than I do, I think that's a good thing, actually. I think it'd be really boring if we were all echoing the same frickin' ideas,
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing that if you're going to talk about electoralism, you have somebody who is maybe more for trying to take over the Democratic Party, and then someone who's more for a third party, which is me. I'm more of a third party guy. I think those are interesting conversations to have. I think it'd be kind of boring if we all had like the same take on it, like how constructive would that be at the end of the day? So, I think it's weird that it's like people, they look for a reason to cancel, I hate to use the cancel culture, but it's like they look for a reason to be like, oh, I don't follow this person anymore because they have this one take I disagree with, even though we have these 95 takes that we agree on. It's like, well,
Yeah.
why can't you just value like their input? And like, if you disagree sometimes, that's okay. That's healthy. I mean, like, I know like everybody was, everyone freaks out when they disagree with something Noam Chomsky says. And it's like, The
Yeah.
dude's been a public intellectual for 60 plus years. If you listened to a bunch of his stuff and never disagreed with anything, that's weird because you don't have a public intellectual you listen to. You have a cult figure you worship, okay?
Right.
You're supposed to not agree with every freaking thing.
Yeah.
I've disagreed with stuff Noam Chomsky has said before. Doesn't mean I'm right and he's wrong or vice versa. It just means we're both freaking humans trying to
Right.
figure out the world. He's a hell of a lot smarter than me, so I still appreciate what the guy has to say.
Yeah, exactly. It's so true. I don't have any friends that I completely agree with, but we're friends.
Yeah, no shit, right?
Yeah.
Like that's just the
Yeah.
most. It's kind of. I mean, whatever. It is what it is, and I think deep down, like, I'd like to think most people aren't that way, but I feel like it's like you always just hear the
Yeah.
the loud folks.
Yeah, Americans like to tribe up also. Like, you got a team, like
Yeah.
there's sports and politics, and I mean, it's just they really like to do that. And so if somebody gets banished from a tribe, then everybody has to attack.
Yeah, I mean it's and I've been I have experience with that. We all do, but yeah, it is weird. We are a very hyper tribal society here, and I feel like in other places it's not like that quite as much. I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
Maybe it is. It is just like grass is always greener. But I feel like here in the States we are so hyper tribal about things, and we just sort of like we sort of dismiss any nuance, and I don't think it's
Yeah.
healthy.
It's so true about the nuance. Oh my
Mhm.
God.
Well, I think that's probably a lot of the by design, a lot of in the education system. We don't learn how to instead of how to think critically
Yeah.
Oh God.
anymore.
That's
So
true.
the nuance is gone then at that point.